on my notes. What do you mean eyes up here? Eyes up your ass.
Eyes up your ass. Welcome to CD-ROMP, a brotherly stroll through the PC games of the 90s and early 2000s. My name is Bob.
I'm Jim.
Hey. Welcome back, everyone. This week, we're going to talk about a very special game in a lot of people's hearts. I think it made its way into my heart a little bit.
Really?
In a way. Okay.
Okay. Oh,
So
actually,
let's
I think I
let me
know
actually say the name of the game.
I think I know which way it made it.
Yeah, well, way through a man's heart is right through the groin. So the game we're playing is Tomb Raider 1 on PC.
Yep.
Let me just go over how this works. We actually recently changed the rules on the fly, but
And also, you don't have to say it's on PC because every game is on PC.
that's true. But let's say they just turn this on. Let's say they're in the car.
right.
Their friend turned it on.
Okay, so if they just turn this on, here's what I would say. Turn
Sure.
it off.
Here's what you do. Swerve off the road and end it now. But let's say you're a glutton for punishment. The way that this podcast works, me and my brother here, we pick a different game every week. We spend 3 hours, at least 3 hours playing the game. And then we meet up and go over our notes. And every week we switch off who picks the game. So Jim picked Tomb Raider 1. I didn't know until he dropped it on me at the end of the last episode, which I will drop one on him, as they say. On him at the end of this episode.
Drop a douche on
Drop a little doucherine on my bro's hair.
That's
We
how
watch
it
a lot of
goes.
Angry Beavers, so it's very addicting to say.
Been watching the Beav lately?
Man, that is such a cool show. Anyway, so and also one of the ways that it works, taking a long time to explain basic structure, the person who picks the game has to do background research and then present to the other interesting tidbits and morsels. Generally me boring Jim, and then when it's his turn, him interesting me. So that's kind of the dynamic
pretty
here.
much.
So Jim, I'm gonna let you have the floor. This was your pick.
So here's the floor.
Here's the floor. Hello, floor.
So I picked this game because oh god, sorry, Mr. Mike.
Senior
Michael phone.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, so I mean I picked the game because I knew it was significant, and I've played the later versions and I've seen the movies, but I've never played the original. Probably because we didn't have a PlayStation 1 growing up.
True.
And that's where it was really had the most traction.
It sounded like you were making a list because we didn't have a PlayStation. 1, that's number 1. Number 2,
1, 2.
We wouldn't play
we
a
didn't
game.
have this game for PC either. So
we actually were very big into tombs, and a Tomb Raider game.
We were very opposed to the Raiders of the tombs.
Yeah, we didn't like that at all.
And of the Lost Ark.
So we weren't allowed to even bring it into our home. But as adult men, we can now.
Yeah. So all right. So let me. I'll give a quick synopsis of development and schniz like that.
Sure. Yeah. Schniz us down.
So it was actually first released on Sega Saturn and then released.
Really?
I think by like months.
Okay.
And then
by monks.
Yeah, by monks, and then like PC and PlayStation like right after.
Okay.
But it was made like they were coming up for games for the PlayStation. I think in like 94 to 96 when the PlayStation was like going to be coming up. So they were coming up for games for the PlayStation.
Okay. Wait, what year did this game come out? I don't think we said that.
96.
96. Okay.
Or 99. 96. I actually didn't write that.
It's either
down.
a 6 or
96.
6 upside
it's
down.
96. It's
96. Okay.
So I can tell you production began in 1994.
Sure.
Which took
2 years.
18 months.
Okay.
And it had a budget. What do you think the budget was? Actually?
It's hard to tell in 90s dollars. Okay.
No, that's fine.
All right. So Myst, I think they asked for $260,000 and they said it used way more than that. So I'm going to guess, because you seem surprised, it was like 120,000.
It was 440,000 pounds.
I should have guessed that because it has
that
way
seems
more.
Like so much.
Yeah, but you have to think about it. How many people are working on it? Do you know?
No, I don't know. It didn't say.
You have to pay salaries.
I know, but
so
still,
if you have a team of 10 people, $40,000 a year each, bing, boom, bop. You know what I mean?
But still.
Yeah, I know. It seems like a lot, but then when you think about
like
yearly salaries, it goes pretty quick. So I should have guessed way higher.
So supposedly, and I haven't verified this by looking through the actual list, but it's one of the best-selling video games for the PlayStation. 7 million units sold.
Where does that compare to the other ones? Do you know?
I told you I didn't look at the list. I started that sentence with I didn't look at the list.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And I apologize that my brain just was off during that portion. Other big names are probably like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro.
Yeah,
right?
maybe Twisted Metal.
Oh, yeah, true.
That's a PlayStation.
They put out like a million of those.
Tekken is a PlayStation port from the arcade.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are big ones, I imagine, right? Maybe King of Fighters 99.
I'd imagine that. I'd always played the guy that had like a cheetah head, but I always lost.
Right. But he looked the coolest. His name was
I thought he looked so
Gangfar. Yeah.
So you took Gengar,
but I knew it wasn't Gengar.
I was like, I'm gonna go to Gangfar. Even the F is close to the G in Gengar.
Well, I mean,
you could have went
a little tweak.
Anyway. You know, it's fine. It could be
so,
right.
All right. So the concept, I will give a shout out to the creator was Toby Gard.
Classic Toby Gard move.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So he worked for Core Design, which got bought by Center Gold, which got bought by Eidos Interactive. All during
Job.
Yeah, all during the production of the game up until like the 96 release.
Damn.
And then that company ended up being the publisher because they were a game publisher at the time.
Wow.
They ended up being a publisher. So initially he made it so there was actually two people, a man and a woman you could choose.
Really?
But then he realized that it was twice the coding, and he was like, yeah, never mind.
Here's the thing about that.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'd have to do all this twice? Never mind.
Yeah.
But it's all like specifically animated, like it's all created. They didn't use any motion capture.
Okay.
So they designed all the animations and stuff. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And let's see here. So he was the one that chose the woman over the man.
Sure.
And apparently like the Eidos or whatever their name is was like kept lobbying for it to be a dude, and he was like, nah. And
back in those days, classic sexism.
But they did get a win in that the initial name was Lara Cruz, and they were like, nah.
Lara Cruz, yeah.
And then he changed it to Lara Croft, which I think that surname came after like one of the executives from
It sounds very English, Croft.
Yeah, so they're all English, right?
Is Cruz supposed to be because Tom Cruise?
No, it wasn't. So I'll tell you, inspirations for the character include the character Tank Girl, which is from
that's
somewhere.
A weird movie. It's from the movie Tank Girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones.
I heard that one before.
And so apparently he chose woman over man because his man like rendering was so much like Indiana Jones. They were like, yeah, this is going to be an issue.
Yeah. I that's one of the things that I didn't know about this game.
Bob, the third inspiration is from the John Woo movie Hard Boiled, starring
Chow
Yun Fat.
Yes, I just watched that long ago. Your world is circled by Chow Yun Fat.
I don't know why Chow Yun Fat keeps coming up in my life, but I love it.
He's in so many Chinese movies, it's crazy.
I told you he is an international gem.
A moderate amount of Chinese movies
He's a star
somehow.
of the world.
Yeah, shout out for him. Hard Boiled. Wow, I can't believe that just came up.
Yeah, right. I know. I was like, oh, he's gonna love this.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a quote. A quote from someone else, obviously. So Lara's notable.
Wait. You're saying this isn't a Jim original quote?
No, this isn't. Right? Lara's notably exaggerated physical proportions, which are, toasty. She's got the
bosoms.
She's got the pointy bosoms.
Tiggle bitties.
Were deliberate choice by Gard, as he wanted a characterized personification of women who could be an action icon for the younger generation, which doesn't really make
to break that down.
You're right. I think he just wanted big old pony boobs.
I think he's like, we need to get them tatas in play to bring the boys in. I guess that does work, right? You have a female character, then the girl's like, oh, I can get behind this as a female just like me. But then how do you get the guys interested?
Right. I mean, obviously,
Hormones.
sex sells, right?
Yeah. Although, I guess we'll wait to talk about the actual game.
Right. Yeah. We'll get there in a second. Like,
sure.
I don't want to spend too long on like.
I'm enjoying it. I like your nuggets. You got good ones. Maybe it's your delivery.
Yeah. So supposedly this also got a Guinness. I don't know if you can call it a Guinness World Record or a Guinness like nod, tip of the hat, as like the most influential female video game heroine. That's not the exact wording. I think I got one of those words wrong in there, but I guess that's over like Samus Aran.
I can see that. I think a lot of people didn't know that Samus was a chick, though.
Yeah, right? Because she wears for a long time.
Yeah, unless you were one of the few that like got the good ending and saw her in a bikini.
Or you probably read the manual in original Metroid, which my copy, I don't have a boxer manual.
But you also don't read manuals anyway. But we'll get there.
I would read it. Oh, yeah. Well, I can tell you I won't get there. Yeah, that's all the facts that I found interesting that I thought we should really talk about. The rest of it, I can tell you that the game was really heralded and enjoyed for its adventure and puzzle solving and stuff like that was like really new for the time and like really set the tone for other games, right? He originally supposedly it was going to be more just like kind of shooting and like he chose to shoot all animals instead of people because he didn't think that Lara Croft would be like a murderer type person.
And so I'm holding back my rant. I have a lot of notes here.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's why it's all like animals like bats and bears and stuff like that. That's like mostly you shoot.
Yeah. Here's let me know. Should I get into a little bit?
Yeah, you can get into whatever you'd like to get into.
What's the deal with Lara Croft shooting all these animals? For those of you who haven't played the game, she's just going around shooting animals. Now, I played for almost 4 hours, and literally, well, now that I know it was a design choice and there wasn't going to be any freaking people, I'm like, what is this girl's problem shooting all these animals, and there's no people to shoot? It feels, I felt bad.
So I didn't even think about it, right? I like...
You're so murderous, you can't even tell.
The first thing, I think maybe because I've played like I played the game that came out in 2013.
How far
The new Tomb Raider.
That must be like Tomb Raider 12 by then.
No, it's like 4 or 5.
Oh, okay. I thought they made more.
It's a reboot, so it's like a reimagining and it's like a different storyline.
Okay.
So maybe because I played that and I saw the 2 movies like a few times.
I think there's brutalizing wolves in the movie. I think
there's only 2 movies, right? No. Hold on.
God.
So I think that's why going into this game, like the setup of the story, like made no sense to me at all. Like they didn't like establish any of the characters or like really talk about who she was or what was going on at all. She was just there, and then there was like another woman. And that like called her up and was like, hey, do you want to do this for money? And she's like, yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
And then all of a sudden we're in Peru.
Here's the thing. You didn't read the manual.
Well, I mean, you can't prove that.
Do you know they actually have links to the original manuals in Steam?
That's pretty cool.
Which I didn't know. And like I actually use it for this one. Yeah, Pitifs. So yeah, in the manual, it goes over her whole backstory, who she is, where she's from. And then what I found out after a while is that there's a whole training tutorial area. Did you find that?
I learned that when I was going through the info to look up this game, that you can get to a training in her house.
Yeah, it's like,
which I could tell you, Toby Gard and the lead developer, who's the programmer whose name I forget off the top of my head and I didn't write down. They did it over a weekend based off just some pictures of an old mansion.
I think it's by Toby Gangflard.
Yeah, I think it was Gangflard.
Is the other guy.
I could tell you his name. He deserves some credit. Hold on a second.
So I will say
his name is Nathan McCree. No, Nathan that's McCree? The composer. That's the composer.
Sorry.
Hold on.
Well, you still get a shout out.
Paul Douglas.
Paul Douglas? This pod's for you. Yeah. There you go. So let me tell you something about that training thing. I appreciated that it was there and it was really good. Unfortunately, I forgot that back in the day, they didn't always make you go through them, and it was just like there somewhere, like practice area, training zone. And now I find it, I don't know how I feel about that I wasn't forced to go through the training, because I probably would have been less miserable if they had forced me.
I think they should have at least let me know it was there.
I agree.
Because it took me about an hour to figure out how to jump.
Well, you weren't looking at the manual either. How did you find the keys?
Oh, I press all the keys. And then eventually one of them, she jumped.
That's tricky for this game.
Yeah, well, not as tricky as Monkey Island, but...
Did you do the tutorial?
No. Bob,
I told you get around. How did you jump? I told you that
I learned the tutorial after I was done playing instead of looking up the game.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear that part. Or maybe you said it, but I didn't internalize it.
Yeah, no, I said it, you just didn't hear it.
That part, yeah. I seem to be doing that a lot.
Yeah, you mean
I'm just getting lost in your eyes
tonight.
Yes. Forever and ever.
Yeah.
So you found it after you're already done. Why were you playing around with the menus when you were done?
I was not playing around with the menu. Again, when researching the game, I found out it existed.
Oh,
this is now maybe third, maybe fourth time.
For those of you playing at home,
bingo.
Yes, I apologize. Okay, you found out about it after. Got it. So I found out about it going through the menus because I think I was just being exploratory. Like, oh, what else is in here?
So this probably comes from like a continue school of thought, right?
Which is
check
what?
out, the continue the show.
Yeah, I know that, but what's their school of thought on
Well,
this?
they always go through the menus and check out the settings and stuff.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I haven't watched Continue in a while. Shout out Continue.
I was just watching, was that last week, 2 weeks ago? And Paul's hair was like such a lion's mane.
He looked like an old sign professor.
I know, I just send you a screenshot.
I really haven't watched that in a long time. I have to check that out.
No, I haven't dedicatedly watched it in a long time.
So I have some notes here. We talked about the cinematic trailer, and I said it actually looked all right for the time. I thought it could have been worse.
So I don't know if it was just bad loading or bad rendering or something on my end, but like when it started, it was like so choppy and like pixelated. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I don't know if it was like a bad install or I don't know.
Maybe the way that the DOS, I think it was using DOSBox.
Yeah, because I don't know, but it kept like,
we played it on
like
Steam. By the way.
And every time like I would like change a menu or like try and load the game or something, it was like popping in and out and like changing screens on my computer and shit. It was like my computer was not happy to be running that game at any point.
I tell you this fucking one. If you try and alt tab out of the game, it closes the goddamn game on you.
Well, Monkey Island did the same thing.
Did it? I don't think I ever tried to do it because I knew the controls better at that point.
Well, I didn't know any of the controls for either of these games. So,
Jim, let me ask you a question. Okay, well, let me go through my notes in order.
Let me give you because you have a more informed perspective of the game, and I was more of a baby deer learning how to walk situation.
That's true. Okay, lead us through here.
So
should we not let you read the manuals? I think
believe me, I'm not going to let myself do it. So don't worry.
So then we'll have two different. I'll be the manual guy. You'll go manual-less.
I was about 60% expecting the controller to work. No, not 40%. 60% expecting it not to work. An Xbox controller.
Oh, you used the controller.
So I had one plugged in already.
You son of a bitch.
And I was like, oh, let's see if this works.
Yeah.
And nothing was happening. So then I put it down over here. And when I put it down, something moved. And I was like, oh. But then I went and took up the controller again, and none of the buttons worked. And I was
That's really weird.
And so I put it down again, and I think maybe it was like the trigger or something. So there was like one button that was mapped to the controller, and then I was like, all right, fuck this.
Jim, you're not allowed to use space-age technology to play these games.
Well, I don't know. If they were able to port it over with Steam, they might have been able to map the controls to a controller.
No. I'm not saying whether they could or not. I'm saying you fucking can't. You're not allowed to use a nice... You know how mangled my mind is from playing on a keyboard?
Yeah, but you could, I think, some of the games, I'm sure you could maybe custom map.
If you go on eBay and buy a controller from the 90s, you may use it. But that is the only way. Or a joystick, because for some reason they were crazy about joysticks back then.
Yeah, what is it?
I remember we had joysticks for like
a Microsoft Rapid Fire or something.
Or like Raptor, some shit.
I think was the joystick.
If you have period appropriate peripherals, you may use them.
Don't make me buy them because I will.
I'm just saying you can. I'm probably not going to, but you can.
Like I said, I was expecting it not to work, and I probably would have.
And it didn't.
I don't know. I was just. I probably wouldn't have used it, to be honest.
All right.
But I was curious if it was going to work or not.
Yeah.
So right, and so I got into the game, and then I realized that I quickly realized that it's tank controls again, which I fucking hate so bad.
I think that was kind of the only way to do it back then.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I still hate it.
Yeah.
So you have to look around, and you can't move forward until you turn. It only goes when you press forward. It goes the direction that you're turned. It's not. It's oriented true to the character, not to the screen.
I think because they knew this was going to go on platforms, they didn't use the mouse. But it would have made so much nicer to use the mouse. I don't get it. Yeah, and it's also so weird.
Maybe I was going to be using the mouse at all, so I tried using it around in it, and eventually, I think in the screen, in the navigation screen or whatever you want to call it.
Does it actually work then?
I saw a cursor come up at one point.
Oh, that's weird.
But I don't know if it did anything.
So for those of you, let's talk about controls real quick because this is the second game that's out
let me tell you the controls that I did figure out. So spacebar will take out your gun.
Yes,
two guns at once, which is
take
fitting for Lara Croft.
Yeah.
Oh, anything.
Well, it'll take out whatever you have, because you could pick an item one at a time, and it allows you to put it away and take it out. I'm pretty sure.
If you say so.
I think.
Oh no, I did. I was able to do that. All right.
Yeah. The inventory actually worked pretty good in this game.
Oh, if you say so.
Yeah. I do say so.
So I was able to take out gun, Guns.
She has
And
two
then,
guns. Her classic
shoot-
two guns.
Shoot, I think, was control.
Yeah. No.
Right?
Yes.
I think
It's either control or alt.
So alt, I figured out after about an hour or so that alt was jump.
Why do you do this to yourself?
I didn't know there was going to be a jump involved, but I was like, it's not space.
Or jump is so annoying.
So eventually, after a lot of jumping and not being able to, I was like, wow, there's nothing in my jumping range. What's going on?
Yeah.
There's nothing even like small that I could jump to or anything.
Mm-hmm.
After about 2 hours playing a game, I realized that if you like kind of press alt and control at the same time and like up, you can climb, you can hold onto a ledge and climb up to it.
That's a game changer when you get that one.
That really changed the game.
Literally. How did you get anywhere without being able to do that?
Oh, Bob, I could tell you that I didn't get very far in this game. And I was smashing my head against the desk because there was nothing to figure out and nothing to do.
I got pretty far.
I did not get far.
Well, it's hard to tell how far pretty far is, but I got pretty far. I felt the same way because I also didn't do the tutorial, even though I had read the. Oh no! I think I read the manual after I tried for the first time. You're running around. So let me paint the scene. The game begins. You watch the cinematic, and then you're put in this cave of emptiness.
Yeah,
really.
so the lady that hires you is trying to find like the scion of Atlantis or something like that.
I immediately forgot what the fuck I was looking for.
Well, I was just reading about it.
I figured it would be apparent.
It was not.
Okay.
It was not apparent.
I don't think I got to it, but I got to something.
Yeah, there's like 3 pieces or something in like Peru, in Egypt, and then you go to Atlantis or something like that.
Okay.
I think there's like 4 stages.
There's going to be
3 or 4 stages in the game.
Okay.
Essentially,
Worlds, let's call them.
Yeah, sure.
Because there is stages. Did you get to the end of a stage?
No. Did you get to another world?
Yeah, well, I finished like a lot of levels.
Oh, no, I did not.
You didn't even finish one level.
I got through. There was like 2 series of doors that like open and close behind you.
Let me tell you what happens, and then you can tell me if you got to here. So here's one of the things that I had written down in my notes. When you end a level, it ends abruptly and weirdly. Like you're running, you're like, oh, I made it. I figured out this puzzle. You're running, and then it just everything pauses. Your score comes up on the screen, and it's just silence waiting for you to
I beat
sign.
1 level.
Okay, you beat 1 level then. I think I did about 6.
Okay,
5 or 6.
I beat the 1.
Yeah, and the note I have here says, okay, well, so we're up to this point. Let me read what my notes say here. First thing I wrote, and I think I said this, janky cinematic actually looks okay. Second thing I wrote was DOS box, which I think is a way that you can play a lot of older DOS games. It's like built in to when you get it on Steam, so you don't have to load that. A lot of trouble jumping up on things. I have written down.
Oh my god, there's so much trouble jumping. You have to there's really super specific timing of when you have to hit the alt button. Yeah. And you have to give yourself, when you're trying to do a forwards jump or something like that, you need to give yourself the perfect amount of run up room and have to time it because it's not instant. There's a delay. And I don't know if she needs to jump.
They made it ultra realistic is what it is. I was thinking about this because you can't just press jump right at the end of the ledge. You have to press jump before to give her a second to hunker down and then jump up. It's too realistic that it's annoying. You usually, when you press jump, you expect them to just jump, not crouch jump, which was how it would be in real life. It's very frustrating. Also, when you go backwards, she doesn't take a step back. She only does a small jump back.
I know, it's so annoying.
So annoying, especially when you're on a small platform. You didn't get up to the part where you have to do all this crazy jumping and there's a pool of water under you. Did
you learn that you could do a side flip jump?
Accidentally, I did it a whole bunch of times, but I couldn't do it on command. That's for sure.
Well, I did it a bunch before I learned that you could before I learned how to hang onto a ledge.
Jim, if you had done that tutorial. It would have changed your life.
Eventually, once I got up to the part where I learned how to pull the rock and push the rock.
That
took me a long time. I didn't know control would let you to hold on to something.
I was like, okay, there has to be a way. All right, we're going too far ahead here because that's a little further in where we were.
Yeah, I got pretty far into the game. So
let me tell you about something here. Okay. I think this note just says, figured she can climb.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I didn't write enough of a note. I guess it looked like she must be able to climb. I figured she could climb, yeah. The next one writes, first time dying, ! Game over in caps, all question marks.
You died?
I died a bunch of times, actually.
I was actually surprised that I didn't die because these animals come out of nowhere.
Next one, in all caps, wolves scared me.
Yeah. And there's like the one big room. So if you remember where there's wolves and like 2 bears.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't remember 2 bears in one room.
It was like one very large
definitely,
room.
first time I saw a bear, it fucked me up to death.
Yeah, that's like the area that I got to.
Scary.
And like the first underwater thing. Do you remember that?
Yes, the swimming controls are actually all right.
Yeah, the swimming controls was like better than anything else.
Yeah, but it was also brutal.
That's where I ended up. Like there was nowhere else for me to go.
Did you never die? Not even once?
No.
Wow, I died a bunch of times.
No, I didn't die.
So let me ask you this. How long did it take for you to figure out how to save?
Oh, not very long. At the end of my first session, 32 minutes in, I pressed exit or escape or whatever. It brought up the thing and I pressed like left and right a bunch of times. And then it said like save game and I hit enter.
I didn't know a brother could press left or right or so that there was a save. So I played about 3 long sessions thinking you had to marathon the game. And when I died, I had to start and re-fucking play the game all over.
Wow, you're a doof.
Until I accidentally, in reading through the manual, found out I could save, and I was like, holy fucking shit.
I was
so mad when I died.
It was far more difficult for me to figure out how to save in Monkey Island than this game.
Well, the manuals have done me good. I have to make sure to read them
that one, to bring up the menu, you had to press like F1 instead of escape.
So I think escape wasn't working for me, and there's a quick save button that's like F5 or something that'll bring up the save thing. Yeah. So
but I didn't even bring up the controls in the game, which I probably should have.
Yeah.
But I kind of like to baby deer it, to be honest. I like doing it that way.
So when it comes to the saving and loading, eventually I started using that to my advantage, because when you die, you can go there, or if something really annoying happened, you could just load and try again. Which I kind of felt like I was cheating. So like, let's say there's something that you have to go all the way up a giant thing, right? And I fall instead of climbing up. I'm like, fuck it, I'm starting over. Something like that.
That makes sense.
I'm using the game mechanics, right? Yeah. So they're letting you do that.
You're not doing anything wrong per se.
I have auto aim was pretty good. I don't like games that have that.
Yeah, so
she has auto aim.
Yeah. Whenever there's an animal and you have your guns out, it does automatically lock onto them.
Again, this fucking
kind of defeats the purpose,
only
but
kills
also,
animals.
Yeah.
I felt bad shooting the wolves. The bats and the bears, not so much.
Well, yeah, it's a design choice.
And they were just laying upside down dead, poor little wolfies. I didn't really
care about that.
Jim, those 90s wolves. Come on, man.
But they were protecting, like, I don't know, Nazi gold or something. I didn't get up to the part where I discovered it.
Yeah. Atlantis's jewels. I immediately didn't remember what the hell I was looking for, but I figured it would be apparent. Which some things were, but I don't know what they were. Anyway, I have I tried using a keyhole and she just goes, no.
Yep, that's as far as I got.
Excuse me? I'm trying not to use the B word about
Wait, so
her.
how do you butthole?
Huh?
Butthole?
Bitch.
Bob.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying not to call her that, but she did.
So
get me a little
that's
riled.
the room. That's the zone that I am stuck in. I don't know what to do.
Oh. Well, I got past that. Let me continue my notes here.
I'm never going to try again.
Someone who made it quite far.
Let me give you one more note.
Sure.
I am so fucking done playing this game.
Well, that's because you didn't get that far, and it took you forever to do basic things.
So hard to control, and like maybe
get more used to it.
Maybe I need to.
I'll say that.
Read the directions and controls and do the tutorial or something, but it's just like so frustrating trying to move and jump around and stuff that it's like off-putting to me.
Yeah.
And it's difficult, like, obviously coming from more intricate controls from like the modern day standpoint, but like,
even from not that much further, like what year did Super Mario 64 came out? It really does blow every other game's controls right out of the water. And it wasn't that much further. It's like, what is it, 98, I think, versus 96? Is it 96?
I think that was also 96. That's when the N64 came out.
That seems a little early. I thought it was 98. You could be right.
Oh, please. Yeah, I'll verify that.
You can look that up in the meantime while I go over this other thing. Swimming was terrifying because they had no problem letting you drown. So
1996.
I wrote that. Okay, you were right. 96. Yeah. Yeah, Mario 64 is way easier to control than this game. I wrote drowned in caps and then no with like 50 O's because it was super annoying. That's before I learned about save. Yeah. And then I have Lara's Home, which we already discussed, the tutorial level,
the training
which is super fucking helpful.
Wow.
Now, this is when I had to play it over again, probably like the third time. I started finding like secrets, which to let you know that you've hit a secret, it makes like a little sound. It's like,
so I thought that was just progressing in the story. I also learned recently that that's you unlock the secret. I was like, oh, I'm making progress.
Yeah.
But now I'm learning I just found secrets and I'm not making any progress in the story.
True. And they let you know when you get to the end of the level how many secrets you picked up and how many there were.
I don't give a shit. I'm trying to make it further in the game. I don't want these secrets.
I don't blame you, dog. I don't blame you. That's what I felt the same. I didn't care about secrets. It was cool to find it. I also wrote the backup movement. We already discussed that. It's super annoying. Picking up things and levers. Okay.
Oh my
Super annoying. And this has to do with the controls you were mentioning, because if she's looking at a lever, which you do a lot of levers, and you're not looking the exact right way and also position distance-wise the exact right distance, she's not doing it. She's not going to do anything. And then you have to go like back up, which again, you can't take a step.
Fine adjustments because she jumps backwards.
Yeah, she does everything very
and then she doesn't shimmy to the left or to the right. She turns.
They did some things
because of the tank controls.
Very interestingly, that it seems like intuitive, and in other ways it's annoying. So like when you're running, she'll turn faster than when she's not.
I think,
which is interesting.
I don't know.
So if you're running, she can like cut at a much quicker angle, where if you're just standing, she'll be like very slow to do it, which I guess makes sense.
Yeah,
momentum or velocity or some kind of fucking parabola. How about this next note that I've got here? Not an animal lover, Lara Croft.
Yeah,
that's what I wrote here. Yeah, okay. Next one I wrote, what the fuck am I going to do with a compass? So in your inventory, they give you your pistols and a compass to start out with. Who the fuck is orientating their way around to like true north? And like, there's no map.
It's not necessarily. It's not necessarily that, right? So you can use it in navigating mazes to know where you've been and where you came from and where you need to go.
Except it's so annoying because you can't have it open while you're moving.
Right. But this is their intention, right? They're like, oh, people are going to want to know, okay, I just came from the northeast corner.
Yeah.
Let's check out the southwest or something like that. I get why they gave it to you, but like, I didn't know it existed until just now.
Did you not look in your inventory? There's only like 2 things.
No, I did try and do the key thing, and she kept telling me no. Eventually, I figured out that one of the buttons was inventory. I don't remember which one.
I think it was I or O, something like that. What the fuck do I do with the compass? All right, we talked about the block in one of the rooms. Well, let's just talk about what that is. So in one of the rooms, let me take a step even further back and talk more high level about this game. So the game is very little action, although you have guns. There's some animals here and there that you kill. It's mostly navigating your way around very empty rooms in like what's supposed to be a giant tomb or like ancient South American city.
Yeah,
and you have to find your way from room to room.
Puzzle solving.
Yeah, puzzle solving. Like there's a door and a giant room that's like kind of mazy. You have to run around and try and find a way to get the key to open the door and go to the next room. So the action's very broken up. It's only violence against animals, and you're really trying to find your way through these rooms. I guess like there is like booby traps. So I guess the idea is trying to get your way through the tombs as if it was a real
booby traps.
Yeah. You don't you remember like there was arrows shooting across as you were running? Like
I don't remember that. No.
And there was also swinging fucking blades.
Maybe in the extreme beginning. Maybe
like the extreme beginning had the arrow shooting, like very Indiana Jones. So that's basically the way the game works. And if you manage to, and the problem is we mentioned the controls are ass. If you manage to stay up on platforms and ledges and don't fall down, there's a lot of things you can avoid. Like Jim mentioned, getting gang raped by bears. A lot of times that's only if you fell.
I actually didn't mention that.
Well, you didn't use those words, but yeah, that's what you mentioned. You could avoid a lot of stuff like that. Other times it's purposeful that you can't get around it. So you do something and then you have to fall. And this one particular situation, it seemed like there was no fucking way to get out of there until you figured out, oh yeah, she knows how to pull things. She could pull this giant stone cube and use that to climb up and get out.
It's funny because the only reason I really even thought to do that, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together that like there's a big square indent in the floor.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like part of some tribal ritual or something, because there was also like tanning hides and pots.
That's true.
And
there was a lot of little
so then maybe it was like some fire pit or some sort of ceremonial cube.
I thought that when you pulled
the only reason I thought to pull it was because of like moving blocks around in like Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, that's true. That is an Ocarina. I saw the square on the ground, as you mentioned, but when you pull the block to that square on the ground, you expect something to. I was actually expecting like Zelda sounds, like except nothing happens. You're like, all right, that's kind of all right. How the fuck? And then you figure out the right way to get out.
I mean, maybe that's just an example of better game design.
Yep,
I think that game.
They had one on there. Couldn't have been that.
What year was that
further.
game? 98?
Probably.
Hold on.
And then I don't think I really. Oh yeah, I have some Alt Tab exits the game is one of the notes I wrote.
The game was 98.
That was so maddening. Vertical jump
so
with no direction is so annoying. I wrote down here.
When you're trying to jump forward and she just keeps jumping up over and over again.
Yeah. So once in this game, unless you've told her before you're leaving the ground that you're going to jump towards a direction, you can't change the direction you jump while you're in the air. If you're standing still and you jump, she's only going up. It doesn't matter if you push forward.
So
I
would say the polar opposite is even original Super Mario Brothers from NES, which has great aerial mobility.
Yeah.
You can alter your flight in the air. She is locked in once you leave the ground. I
can't think of another example of a game that has that, but it's super fucking annoying. I'll tell you that.
So like Castlevania is like that.
Is it? I've never played a Castlevania game.
Your jump distance is the same each time, and you can't like pull back at all.
Interesting.
And it has a problem where like if you don't see things coming, they can pop, like they can render onto your screen and start scrolling across and then like throw something at you while you're already in midair trying to land on this platform, and then it knocks you into the water.
Knocks you off. Yeah, that's absolutely terrible. Did she have? There wasn't that many enemies. I was going to ask if she had knock damage from getting hit, but there's not that many enemies.
Like fall damage?
No, like when you get hit, that it bounces you somewhere. Yeah, knockback.
Knockback? I didn't see that happen.
I don't remember. Again, very few enemies, just animals.
I didn't see any knockback. There was like bite damage from wolves I got a few times. So there was actually like, I had plenty of time to find health packs because I fought a total of maybe like 15 enemies. Like most of them were bats.
Say what they are, Jim.
Well, they're still my enemies, regardless of species.
They are still my enemies.
Yeah.
Here's something about the bats, which are generally the most annoying enemy in every game. If you don't kill them in time, they get onto your head and start ripping at your head. And you can't shoot them because you can only shoot towards wherever she feels like it. So at that point, it's very annoying. Bats
what do you do
up on your head. I don't remember.
Do you like jump?
I pressed buttons wildly and eventually they popped off.
I can see
and then I murdered them with my gun.
With love.
I have a note here that says, pool room with bear. Fuck me. So there was one section where you go underwater and come up, and then you're in a room which you hadn't been before, which is awesome. Except there's a goddamn bear waiting for you outside the room, like outside the pool. So like, how the hell do you get out of the pool quick enough to get your gun out to start shooting him because you can't aim ahead of time? It was a mess. I think I was eventually all right.
Killed you,
but I was very, very. I don't know if it did or not. I will not attest to that legally on the record. But I was very frustrated that situation even happened. Using save states. We already talked about that one. Oh, okay. So let's talk about, for those of you who have watched previous episodes of this game, I apologize to my creaky chairs. I move my old Elden body. So we'd been playing the previous games for 4 hours, which is just kind of a number we pulled out of not our ass, but near our ass. It just seemed like a good amount of time to get a vibe for the game.
It was like a coccyx situation.
So besides the fact that it's actually kind of hard in a week in your normal life to, manage the rest of this stuff and play the game, I had played the game on Steam for 3 hours and went to go open it up again. And it said, you've played this game for 3 hours. Would you recommend playing this game to a friend? And then I was like, you know what? There must be something about playing it for 3 hours where they waited to ask you that. So that must be a good amount of playtime for a game to get a vibe if you like it or not. So Jim and I talked and we decided at that point, we'll change it to 3 hours. Yeah, if you think that we should go back to 4 hours, send us an email.
Keep it to yourself.
theboys@cdromp.com and we'll make sure to respond to you. Too bad. But we appreciate your email.
Too bad, so sad.
Yeah, too bad.
I mean, I don't think I would have gained anything. I certainly would have probably not learned any more controls.
Yeah.
Or learned that there was a tutorial course. I would have just kept swimming through the same legs of this thing over and over again, running down the same hallways, jumping across the same things, and not made any more progress.
It's really weird that you got way further than me in Myst, and I got way further than you in this. Because I thought this was tricky too, but I felt that it had the just right amount of difficulty where I was just about to blow my brains out, and then I figured it out.
No, but I couldn't even find anything to figure out. I thought I had done everything. Like there was nothing else for me to interact with that I had noticed.
I think because you were garbage at controlling her, which made it very hard to get to places. You probably didn't realize things you could like climb over or jump from into.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
I remember one of the parts.
It's not that I couldn't figure out what to do in a situation. Like I mean, I guess it's true because I didn't know what to fucking do. Like,
yeah.
I was like, where do I even go? It's not like I was encountered with a situation that I couldn't figure out.
It's really
beyond the like, where do I physically put my person in order to progress in this game?
Yeah. Well, I know the real problem is there's no map. I don't know why there's no map. It makes it way harder than it needs to be because everything looks the same. You know how we mentioned like you're in these like tombs and like these rooms. The maps aren't that different. And let's say I cleared 6 stages. It looks pretty goddamn the same. And when you're running around over and over and over, like Jim said, stuck and you can't find your way out, it's very easy to get lost. The goddamn compass is of no help because there's no way. Here's how. Okay, I'm going to give you in real time. This is what it's like. Okay, you're there trying to figure out where to go. Okay, I hit inventory button. It goes. Now your inventory comes out. I'm looking at a compass. I press it. Now the compass comes out. And all this time, just to open it up for 1 second to see the thing go, and then I have to put it away. And then it's of no use to me. First of all, without a map, you don't know where the hell you are going unless you remember exactly what it looked like, but all the rooms look fucking the same.
Yeah.
It was just too hard to navigate. And let me do another thing while we're in Bob's not so thrilled about a corner.
Thing.
Well, hold on. Let me switch over to Bob's, good points corner. I thought it had really good audio. I think there was really good sound effects and stuff. I thought the graphics for the time were pretty good.
I was not a fan of the graphics.
Really? I thought they were good for the time. And it's hard to tell how much they kind of rendered better on the newer computers.
Sometimes with like 3D models around that time, they don't age well. It kind of depends.
She had pointy tits.
Yeah. Which, I don't hate.
But, and also she looked not great when you saw her face. Actually, when in the in the cinematic version, she looks Lara Crofty, but in the actual real life version, she looks almost like Michael Myers-y. Her face, she has like a 6 head going on.
I mean,
she's not a lot to look at when she's rendered out in polygons. All right, guys.
I don't think it held up as well as some other games from 1996. Or like 5 or 7, or you know what I mean? Like,
well, I know the PlayStation
it's the attempt at realistic art style.
Yeah.
That I think just didn't hold up because they didn't have the technical ability,
I would be interested to see what it looks like on a PlayStation 1 because I know the PlayStation is notorious for being very muddled, and I thought that it was actually very crisply rendered on my screen. So I was like, this is probably better than it should be.
I think it can be done. We have a PS1 floating around somewhere.
I'll probably just look it up on YouTube. Rather than hooking it up just to go,
Fair
of course.
Enough. Yeah, get a copy of the game.
Yeah, Mudland. Good. Yeah, sorry. So what I was going to say before I interrupted my own rant for another rant, there's very little music in this game. Very little, which is disappointing. I mean,
you play something even like GoldenEye.
Yeah.
It has like a lot of
had some
background.
I just see no reason why there couldn't have been more ambiance, music in there.
I have the music in my head playing, but I can't make it come out of my mouth movies.
Yeah. That seemed like a wasted opportunity.
Like the song in like the background or something.
I am only, when you're doing that, I'm only thinking Little Drummer Boy.
No, not that. I don't think that was a part of the soundtrack.
I don't remember. Was that in Stacks or Library or Temple?
It was in Stacks.
They didn't really. Yeah, we can't just go talking about GoldenEye.
Maybe your next game is going to be GoldenEye.
I don't think it is going to be GoldenEye.
I don't think it came out.
I don't know if they put that out on PC.
Yeah, I don't think there was a James Bond game for a while.
So In summation,
probably.
Lara Croft Tomb Raider. I appreciated it because I know it has such a big legacy. I think it was probably pretty good at the time. Going back now, I think I probably would have gave up quicker if I wasn't forced to, because it's really not that interesting what you're looking at or doing. No, I really wish there was more bad guys. I really wish there was more going on in the levels. It was kind of boring, honestly.
Yeah, I think like you can compare it to Myst, obviously, because that's another puzzle solving game where it's like completely player driven, right? They're not just like feeding you things to do. You have to go find your way. I think even in Myst, they gave you so many more things to interact with, like not even maybe by design. I think maybe the design was to throw you off and not have you know what to do next. And they just give you so many things to do, where it's like my boredom or lack of direction can be fueled by just like playing around with shit and trying something new. Yeah. And like this game, when I didn't know what to do, it was just like I kept running around the same 5 corridors and like seeing the same dead wolves on the floor. And like there's no music playing. I have nothing more to interact with.
I almost put music on of my own.
Yeah, it's just like very close. Like not a lot happening when I didn't know what to do. Like I didn't even know what to keep playing around with in order to find a solution. At least when we were playing Myst, like I kept like trying different angles with the lighthouse or trying different configurations with the constellations.
For those of you who haven't listened to that episode,
go back and watch.
Go back or listen. Episode 2, Myst. Wherever you found this.
Yeah, I mean, and this game, like, I don't know, I found it like isolating. Like they just left like the player out there and like, okay, figure it out. And like I didn't feel immersed in the story because I didn't like I don't feel like they explained it well or anything. And maybe that's because I was supposed to read the manual. But like I didn't feel attached or like wanting to progress the story because I didn't feel connected to the story at all.
And there wasn't, to be fair, even when you were progressing the story, it wasn't interesting at all. It was just like, okay, you made it to the second set of rooms.
And it was very, getting to the next level
There's no
could
bosses.
Be better even if there was some sort of cinematic or something. Like again, true. With Myst, like you go from world to world and they play like a cinematic in between. This was like a classic arcade, like you beat the game, here's your score screen.
It was like it was very anticlimactic when you got to the end of the level. Like literally there's no sound, there's no you did it, it's just you freeze in mid-action. There's not even like something that you touch like in Doom. I think you get to a thing, which I'm sure we'll play at some point. It's just like you're running and then it's just like you almost think the game freezes and it says like level complete, your score. And I was like, what? And then you start the next thing. I was like, okay, start in silence in another room. I'm like, what the fuck? It's the game needs a map. Come on, dude. If the whole point,
they're not going to go back and change it now, right? But I think
they should.
I think the genre and games of that ilk figured it out. Right?
We have not seen a game with a map yet.
Well, we haven't played that many.
Well, out of 3 games, there's not been one goddamn map, not one mini map.
Well, no, Myst there was there was an overworld map in Monkey Island.
Well, you know what? You're right, but not in the way that I would have wanted. Also, there actually was a map in Myst, but it was annoying because you had to go back to the title screen to see it.
There was a map?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, on the title screen, it showed you your way around.
Title screen?
The title on the title screen. Myst! Yeah, there actually was a map in
I didn't know that.
World. Yeah, but it was in a weird place because it wasn't like normally to access it. People, if you're listening to this through a time machine and it's 1996, put some maps into your goddamn game. It's inexcusable. Please, it would make it so much better. I thought
you were going to tell them to play Myst and then listen to the thing.
Yes, play Myst, listen to this, then play Myst, then go add a fucking map to your game.
No, because they can't listen to this. Stop listening. Stop.
If you've made it here in a time machine, stop watching or listening.
Here's what you do.
Go ahead.
Here's what you do. Go back to earlier in this episode before we started talking about Myst.
Praise.
Then go play Myst. Then listen to us talk about Myst. Then listen to this to rehear what we said about Myst the second time.
You just gave me a headache. Instantaneously.
You're welcome.
Yes. Now I can't remember it had a good way to wrap it up. Oh, this is a good point to bring this up. If you're listening to this right now, just want to remind you, you could be watching this right now because we have this podcast is available in video on YouTube, on the I Drank Beer YouTube channel. If you just search CD-ROMP on YouTube, it'll come up. Or you can go to cdromp.com where you could watch or listen to us on all kinds of podcasting places, which you may or may not be listening to us through now. This is a plug for ourselves.
This would be interesting if they're listening and somehow not listening.
If you're listening and not listening like Jim would probably be doing to this podcast.
I mean.
If you have it on and you hear this, please stop what you're doing and listen full bore. Because guess what? We're wrapping up this episode.
In Jim? The arms of an angel.
Oh, man. This game could have been so much more if you would have let her shoot some people, put some music in the game, and give me a map. And then we've been in a much better position.
I think if it was easier to climb things,
controls back then.
Okay, controls
kind
of
a crapshoot.
Right?
Yeah.
Map I think would be helpful, and then the killing people versus animals moves the needle 0% for me. Like
Jim,
I don't care.
People are a little bit trickier to kill than a goddamn just wolf running around, and also it's more plotty. Like this guy, this is the guy. He's a grave robber.
Yeah, but
rather than just a poor little wolf.
Yeah, but we're supposed to be going into some Tibetan cave or whatever it is.
In the movies, does she just shoot only wolves?
Well, sometimes statues come to life.
Using some sort of
ancient Sri Lankan serum.
I don't remember any of that, but
and
I don't even know if
there's the Triforce.
Also, I'm in love with Angelina Jolie. So
especially in Gone in 60 Seconds and
Hackers. Actually, yes, it starts there, but it branches out there. Yeah. So yeah. Well, Jim, I'll ask you and then you ask me. Yeah. Jim, should people play this today in modern era?
Honestly,
yes.
I don't think it's worth their time.
I also agree with you. If you'd like to, I think it's not that expensive. So if you want to get a taste for what was it like? How did this all start? Do give it a little taste. I think if you play it for 30 minutes, you got it. You got 3 hours worth.
I got it after the first 30-minute session.
Yes. That's what I'd say.
I didn't get much further.
I'd say I was happy when I completed things. I was frustrated during, but all said and done, I didn't go, tell anybody to go play it. And I'm not telling you to play it right now, unless you really want to, because we've gotten better at games since then.
Yeah, as a culture.
Give me a fucking map.
I had a lot more fun playing the 2013 Tomb Raider.
Okay. They figured it out by then.
I would suggest that. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Just climbing and raiding tombs. Shooting people with a bow and arrow.
This is a free plug right now for Tomb Raider 2013. Climbing,
Ubisoft,
shooting
probably.
tombs, I think you said. Ubisoft. Yeah. There you go. Your guy's right here.
Who made it.
He's pimping you out, baby.
Yeah, pimping. Big pimping.
Yeah. So that was it. We did Tomb Raider. I'm actually glad that I played it because I'd never played a Tomb Raider movie.
Yeah. And for some reason, Mike really likes it.
I mean, I think there's nostalgia for people. That's a big part of what we're trying to, draw to all you people out there. We're trying to play off of your emotions for you to listen to this because you have nostalgia. That's what we're doing. It's a trick. We've tricked you.
Yeah, I think if you liked this game...
I feel like we're going to say that every single time. If you like this game, you're going to like it now.
Maybe. Well, there's some games that I don't know. It's tough.
I don't know if you will. I don't think there's as many things to bring you back in. You play an old game.
No, I think it's the story.
Now your control's so good. Or you bring it back in and
the story.
The music.
And
story.
I know there is. There
is no story.
But if you get further in the game, there might be a story. You never know.
That's what you actually unlock when you beat the game by finding out the story.
You've unlocked story mode.
Story has begun. Yeah, you get that at the very end, I think.
Maybe.
You look for some kind of idol or something.
Yeah.
Or tomb.
It's like Olmec or something.
You're looking for Olmec and his brother. Yeah. Steve
Joel
Mech. Damn it, Joel Mech's way better than Steve Mech. I was moving through my brain. What sounds like Olmec? What sounds like I got nothing. I went right for Steve Mech. Steve Mech sounds like a robot, like a mech war.
I am Steve Mech.
Steve Mech engaged. Okay, so you probably want to know, hey, Bob, Bob, what are we going to play next week?
Hey, Bob, what are we going to play next week?
Jim, Well, I am happy to tell you we will play Spy Fox in Dry Cereal by Humongous Games.
How many times have we played this one game?
Well, you know what? I'll give you a little backstory here. We had this game when we were growing up as kids, as real kids. At one point, I think I tried playing it again through the years. At a third point, Jim bought it for me for my birthday, and I played it a very little amount, but I did enjoy it. And it's one of those things where when you're not forced to play it for a podcast, you don't really play it that much. So I'm pretty stoked that I'm forced to play it because
I'm gonna enjoy it, and it's gonna be fun because I think I might not even have to buy it because we have a shared library.
True, although it is very cheap, and they have all big packs.
Yeah, buying the entire Spy Fox collection was pretty cheap, actually.
Yeah, and I double checked that it was the first in the Spy Fox series.
Yeah, and the dry
because if we play any games, we want to start out obviously at the first one,
unless we're playing Curse of Monkey Island or whatever it is.
And then we start out at a number that we don't even know we're starting out at.
Either the second or the third. We're not incredibly sure yet.
Yes. So, well, you already explained the way that we pick the games, but if you have a game that you'd like us to play, please send us an email to theboys, theboys, at cdromp.com. Also, if you want to listen or watch any of our previous episodes, please check out the website. It's got all that information, cdromp.com. And until next time, keep it sleazy. And I'm out. Jim, final words?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Spy Fox. This is going to be good. Later, gang.
Be good. Yeah.
Have a lovely week.
I might enjoy this game.
Yeah, we might have some fun. I think it's going to be a lot easier. And also, I think I'm going to keep track of playtime. Maybe I could beat the game in 3 hours.
Oh, you want to do a speed run, actually?
I want to do a speed run. Yeah, let's see who we can get.
Because I was going to say, this might, because it's going to be, it's a kid skewn game, right? I think it'll be procedurally easier.
We might be able to blast through it.
So that'll be interesting. Maybe I'll give it a bit of a run.
Because I think Steam's going to keep track of playtime, right? So we don't even have to worry about being on the clock.
It will, but I think we might have a shared playtime. So I might just have to sit down and do it in one slop.
One blast. That might be tough. I don't know. Oh, guys, instead of us pre-talking about the game, we'll see you next time for Spy Fox and Dry Cereal. If you want to play along with us, grab the game and play 3 hours this week, and we'll see you next week. Thanks so much for tuning in. From my brother to yours. This is Real Goodbye. And we out.